Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. My name is Haley and I have mitochondrial DNA disease, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. So before I start this video, you're probably wondering, Haley, why the heck are you wearing a Christmas sweater? It's not Christmas anymore, I know, but it's one of the comfiest shirts in Softis, so I just put it on. On January 14th, 2016, I went to the ER. I was really shaky to the point where when my dad was helping me get out of the car and into a wheelchair, I was shaking his whole body and I was super weak. Shakiness is one of the bigger symptoms of cyclic vomiting syndrome episodes for me. And weakness has just always been a part of my life, whether or not I'm in an episode or not, or a flare-up. I thought it was going to be a no-brainer that I would only need to be on fluids for a day or two, because whenever I'm on IV fluids, the IV fluids I have is D10, and all of that is basically sugar water, but what that sugar does, it helps create extra energy for my body to snap out of stuff. Unfortunately, I was in the hospital for 10 days, being unable to be weaned off any fluids lower than the rate of 50, and I came home on a big line. I just kept getting worse and worse as each month grew on, as each week grew on, as each day I got worse and worse, but I started to get really bad in April, and my GI system pretty much failed, like majorly, April through June. I'm not going to go into detail because that will make this video 500 years long, and you can refer to previous blog posts and previous videos. So this whole year has been, I'm just going to say a crap. Excuse my language, but that's just the most fitting word. So in this video, I'm going to be talking everything I've learned and realized this year. The biggest things I've learned is how important it is to trust God, and how much mercy He has and how much love He has. January through March, I really trusted God. I was firm. I didn't have a doubt in my mind. I knew I would get better someday. I knew all of this was happening for the greater good. Even though I was getting sicker, I was so positive in that way. And then probably in mid-April, when I started getting really sick, every day I slowly lost faith in Him and trust in Him. And most of April and all of May, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't fully 100% trust God. I was mad at Him because I wasn't getting better, I was getting worse, and I was in so much agony. It's unexplainable. Nobody will ever know unless they've been through that type of agony before. But in June, when I was really sick and when my body was shutting down, I remember laying in the ER bed, and I couldn't comprehend anything. Nothing made sense to me. But what made sense to me was saying, God, I'm sorry for not trusting You, but honestly, help me, whether You heal me here on earth from this certain flare-up, or if You heal me up in heaven and bring me with You, just help me. And that small last piece of hope, that the highly experimental treatment that I was treated with, there wasn't a ton of hope. We didn't know for sure, and that helps me. And did He fully heal me of my own? No. But He healed me from the certain flare-up, and within the next day, everything was working for the most part. I mean, not necessarily like it should have been, but I felt like a new person the day after the treatment started. So I've really learned to trust God. Second biggest thing I've learned this year is how much I loved and the extent of everybody's love. I know I'm surrounded by love and I'm very blessed, and I know how much people love me, but until you're going through something really trying, you don't necessarily realize the 100% full extent of everybody's love around you. I'm gonna try not to cry because every time I think about all these things, it makes me want to cry. But everybody we knew was amazing. Our church community, they were amazing. The prayer team was constantly on it. My mom would update them and they would be praying. And 2 other people on the prayer team actually drove all the way to when I was in the hospital the first time of the year, last January. They came and they prayed over me. And then in May, when I was at a different hospital, which I haven't been to since, being monitored because I was just on TPN, they drove all the way, which was even farther than the first hospital, to pray over me, and that means a lot. Our homeschool co-op community was amazing as well. Last January, so many people came and gave me cards and chocolate, which I'm always down for chocolate, but they didn't have to do that, and flowers. They always checked in on us. Everybody did. People would take my brother Justin on playdates to the park, and they made sure that at least once a week there was a meal that was being served. Even though majority of the meals that were given to my family I couldn't personally eat, just knowing that my mom didn't have to worry about cooking a meal at least one night a week. My friends were amazing. My whole homeschool co-op class, they were huge supporters, always checked in on me. They helped me when I needed help with schoolwork. They were just there for me, and they supported me and made cards. And honestly, I wouldn't have made it through this past year without them, especially 2 of my closest friends. They know who they are, but I'm just so grateful. Like my grandma, she has her whole church praying for me, and they would ask how I'm doing every Sunday and having updates on me, and that meant a lot. And I would get cards from people from her church. That meant a lot. And my grandparents were amazing. They drove all the way to the hospital that I was in last January and came and visited me and were just there for me. And then in June, my grandma drove all the way to an even further away hospital to support me and to be there for me. I mean, so much more than I could ever explain. My brothers were amazing. When I was getting really sick, I couldn't even carry on a conversation because of how weak I was. My brother Justin, the way he would spend time with me is he would just climb in bed by me, and we would just turn on Good Mythical Morning and just watch it on my TV, because honestly, it was the only thing I could do at that point, and barely that. And my brother Josh, the way he would spend time with me is he would come in my room and he would just quietly sit there, and he would bring in lotion, and he would just start rubbing my nasty, scaly, dry, gross feet, because that was the only way he could spend time with me, because he knew I was too sick. Makes me want to cry. And my parents, they're amazing, selfless parents. My dad is my hospital buddy who is with me. He would go out of his way to do things for me, and he would just be there for me and play games with me in the hospital. And then my mom would be there almost every day whenever I was in the hospital, and during the day my dad would go to work as long as he could during the day, and then my mom would come while he was gone so I wouldn't be alone. I really truly know how loved and blessed I am by everybody around me. Something else I've learned this year is how to be confident. And I wasn't confident with myself, and I thought if I lose weight I would feel better about myself and feel prettier and look prettier. But honestly, after 6 months of not being able to control that, I looked 3 times the size I normally is because I was so swollen. I had so much water retention, and I was bloated. My stomach was distended. After I got better in June, I started becoming confident because I'm like, you know what? I can't always control how I look or how I feel. I can't control if one side of my face is swollen. I've also learned this year to actually take all my medications. There's definitely major necessities that I can't not go without, like supplemental cocktail and stuff that helps a bunch of stuff, but there's like a few things like vitamin B2 or vitamin C or magnesium. Like, if I like just like didn't take those, it wouldn't necessarily have an effect. No, it would internally have an effect, but I didn't feel anything. But I've learned after this year how important it is to take all your medications, no matter how much there is. Another thing I've learned about, believe it or not, it's all about blood pressures. Before this past January, I had no idea what the heck blood pressure meant, how important it was. I didn't know what was high or what was low or what was average. I didn't know my normal or my high or my low. I didn't know any. But now I do now. That's what 6 months of being sick with a chronic illness does to you. I've also learned how to keep a sterile field. I had a PICC line, but now I have a central line. Hopefully we want to get a portacath, because then I would be able to swim when it's de-accessed. But when you have dressing and you get it changed every week, it's my central line's right here. That's why I'm like, yeah. You learn how to keep a sterile field and you learn how to change a dressing. I can change a dressing in my sleep. I've never ever physically changed a dressing, but I could in my sleep. No joke. I have also learned to not lie about waking up sick. I did that last January 4th to be exact, and I woke up sick, but I lied to my mom and just said, oh, I was randomly congested all of a sudden. Oh no, I was real sick. Like, I had the RSV virus that week. And then the next week was when I ended up in the hospital. So, being sick, going on a field trip, almost passing out in the middle of the field trip, resulted in me being hospitalized. Learned to be grateful that my GI system works now. Does it work like it used to before? No, but it works so much better than it did this past year. I've also learned to not take anything for granted, because I took eating for granted, and I took for granted being able to be healthy enough to help out in the nursery, which I can no longer do because the risk of getting sick is too high. Took for granted being able to walk around wherever I wanted, or being able to hang out with my friends whenever I wanted. I took all of that for granted. I don't anymore, and I hope that I never will. Another thing I've learned is that it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to need help emotionally and mentally. Something else that I've learned is that I have so many food sensitivities, like so many allergies now. I'm still allergic to gluten and bananas, but I'm also allergic to dairy, really sensitive to sugar. I can't have eggs. And then, like, with my dressing, that's a whole nother story for another video, but like, I need hypoallergenic everything. I've also learned how to create and maintain a YouTube channel, which I need to improve upon. And I've also learned how to make a Facebook page, and the link is down in the description box below if you want. It has that group. Facebook group is public, and that's where all of my updates are. And I've gained 2 amazing doctors. Before this past year, we only had my genetic doctor and a pediatrician who we never went to because like urgent care was much faster when I was sick. But we found my current pediatrician and my GI, and they're amazing. And not only are they phenomenal, they both specialize in Mito, and they know what they're talking about, they know what they're doing, and both of them and my genetic doctor, they don't work together in the same office, but they work together with me, which is amazing. Like, they're like the best doctors ever, and I'm so glad we found them. I've also gained my runner, Marie. She runs for me since I can't physically run marathons or races or anything. She does it for me, and she sends me all her medals, and I'm grateful to have her because she's amazing. One of the biggest things experiences I've gained is going on a Make-A-Wish trip, and I'm going to make a whole separate video after all the vlogs are posted, which need to be posted. I will put them up as soon as I can. But my editor just doesn't behave. But my Make-A-Wish trip, it was amazing. It was truly life-changing. It changed me how I felt physically and mentally, and it was so magical and it was amazing. And like, there's no words that can accurately describe how amazing Make-A-Wish is. And I'm so blessed, and I'm so grateful that I got to go on a Make-A-Wish trip. And I'm grateful that I got well enough that I got to enjoy the trip. And Overall, I'm just very grateful for all the things I do have. You're not alone if you struggle with a chronic illness and you're going through all these really hard, crappy things. You can do it. You can fight. So that was my video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this isn't too long. Probably is like real long. I might have to edit stuff out. I don't know. But thank you so much for watching this. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. Give this video a like and subscribe and share my video, share my channel, share any of my videos, and I will put a playlist at the end of this video of all the stuff that's happened since January if you want an in-depth explanation of everything I've dealt with this whole past year. But yes, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.